The Torah tells us in Parshas Vayera that Hashem saved Lot from the destruction that was to take place in Sodom and Amorah and all of the cities. And the reason why Hashem did that, as described by the Torah, seems to be some connection to Avraham. The pasuk says, "Vayizkor Elokim es Avraham." Hashem remembered Avraham, and then, therefore, "Vayishlach es Lot mitoch hafecha." He sent Lot from the hafecha. He sent Lot from the disaster that was taking place in Sodom. And so Rashi comments and says, well, why is there a connection between Avraham and Lot? Of course, Lot is Avraham's nephew, but what happened here that connected the two? And so Rashi responds and says that Hashem remembered what Lot did for Avraham when Avraham went down to Mitzrayim. And that was, Lot was very careful not to reveal a secret that could have cost Avraham his life. Remember that when Avraham went down to Mitzrayim, he turned to his wife Sarah and he asked her if she can say that she was his sister as opposed to his wife, because Avraham was concerned that the Mitzrayim would kill him. Now Lot knew the truth, and yet Lot kept the secret in order to save Avraham's life. Rabbi Yisrael Salanter, Zechat Tzadik Livracha, asks a question on this Rashi and says, that wasn't the only merit that Lot had. There was another merit, a merit that we see in this week's Parsha, that when the Malachim, when the angels came to save Lot, they came to his house to tell him, to talk to him, and he welcomed them, not knowing that they were Malachim, that they were angels. He welcomed them because he was Machdis Orchim. He knew how to treat guests. And we know that he knew how to treat guests because he spent so much time in his uncle and aunt's house. He spent so much time by Avraham that he saw how you treat guests by Avraham. So Lot also fulfilled the mitzvah of Achnasas Orchim, of welcoming people. Why wasn't that a zchus? Why wasn't that a merit? As opposed to the merit of the fact that Avraham Avinu was saved by Lot in Mitzrayim. Why wasn't this also considered to be a significant enough mitzvah that should have caused Hashem to save Lot for this reason as well? And so Rabbi Yisrael Salanter explains as follows. He says, it's true. Lot did perform Hachnasas Orchim. He did welcome in the guests who were the Malachim when he didn't even know they were Malachim. So it was true. He welcomed guests. He learned well from Avraham. But there was something missing from Lot. In that, Lot welcomed guests, but he did so as part of a routine. He did so because that was just what he did. He did so because he learned it in the house of Avraham Avinu, so he adapted that behavior, but there was something missing. He didn't have the sincerity. He didn't have the depth in his heart. He didn't own the action. He performed the action. But there really was a lack of internalization of the whole purpose of giving to the people that he was giving to, and really feeling that he was giving to them from his heart. That lack of sincerity caused this action by Lot to be not as beneficial to him and to saving his life as was the act that he did on behalf of Avraham by being silent in Mitzrayim. And I think there's an important lesson here for us to learn about when we perform mitzvos and the drive that we need to have. Of course, there are certain mitzvos that are routine and we continue to do them, and we may not be up to it every moment, having the most incredible kavanah, focus, sincerity, depth of heart at all times, and yet we still do those mitzvos. But we need to start focusing on trying to find certain mitzvos that we're able to think about, to be mindful of, to internalize, to be sincere with. This week, the entire community, the entire world, Jewish world, is focused on Shabbos, the Shabbos project, and that how special and unique Shabbos is for us, and that we need to not make sure that we don't take it for granted, and we recognize just how important Shabbos, the role that Shabbos plays in our lives. So perhaps we could take this message and apply it to Shabbos, that as we celebrate Shabbos this week, not just simply go through the routine of Shabbos davening and a Shabbos Suda and whatever else that we do on Shabbos, but try to internalize the important role that Shabbos plays in our lives, what Shabbos represents as far as our spirituality, as far as our existence and our connection with Hashem. And in doing so, the Shabbos experience will hopefully become more enhanced for us, for our families, for our community, and for all of the Jewish people. Thank you for listening, and have a good Shabbos.